Good morning. It's another day in the shop. Dave here. Welcome back. It's time to start taking the clamps off of this mess and kind of see what we got. It's one of those kind of exciting days where after a really terribly messy glue up yesterday, trying to get all these edges done, we get to see what we got. And I'm only mildly concerned about a couple of spots on here where I didn't get a lot of squeeze out, but I guess we'll see. We can always fix it. That's the nice part about doing this for a while and making all the mistakes that I've made over the years. And having to fix a ton of them. It's how you learn, by making mistakes. I never learned anything by doing it right the first time, so I've had plenty of opportunity to make as many mistakes. I don't want to say I've made as many mistakes as humanly possible, but I'm probably pretty close. I keep pushing that envelope of what can I goof up this time? Sorry about the noise. It's like, what can I goof up this time that'll cause this project to end up not working out the way that I planned? I can see I got plenty of squeeze out on most of the areas. You know, I think this is going to turn out pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's going to work out good. So now I'll put the rest of these clamps away, and then I'm torn between, I'll have to scrape some of this excess glue off. I'll probably use a card scraper or chisel to get some of this stuff off. It's pretty consistent. I know I've got a few spots where it's going to be high on one side and low on the other because they all start at the same thickness. I guess we'll see when the glue's all scraped off. And then, as I said yesterday, I'm going to cut this off at a 45-degree angle. I'll just use this as kind of an example of where I'm at. I'm gonna make slices, and then I got to decide how thick I want these slices to be. These are all 1.25 inches in width. So I think to maintain consistency, I'll cut these at 1.25 inches, and then I don't know whether I'm gonna alternate every other one in this orientation, or if I'm going to turn them 180 degrees, or turn them and flip them 180 degrees. But I think what I'm going to end up with, and only time will tell as to whether or not this is going to work out, I think I should end up with either an arrow shape or another square that's tilted at 90 degrees, a diamond shape. I'm not exactly sure, but whatever it is going to be much different than what I've ever done in the past. I think after yesterday's glue up of these 6 boards and how messy that was, and you get a lot of glue spread out over quite a distance, and in spite of me using my longest open time glue, the Titebond 3, I might consider, assuming that I want to do this again, I might consider gluing maybe half of each, in other words, doing 3 boards and doing that glue up one day, and then gluing the other 3 boards the next day, or maybe I've got enough clamps, like I don't have enough clamps, or doing them in 2 sections of 3 might be easier to keep everything in the same plane, more exact. Because what happens, you may start off with a nice wide board. I think I started with almost 8-inch wide boards, and then milled these 1.25 inch strips off of each one, and the walnut and the Padauk, I think, were the 2 that, while the board is straight, while it's 6 inches wide, as you cut it, there's a natural tension in the wood that sometimes causes it to bow slightly in a narrower configuration. So I ended up with a couple of them that had a bit of a bow in them, and there's just nothing you can do about that except work with what the wood will give you. So sometimes you'll start clamping down on one end, and you'll have a gap in the middle, and then trying to pull it together, and as you pull it together, it shifts and does all kinds of crazy things during glue up. But that I may be able to solve at least a little bit of that by doing it maybe in 2 boards or 3 boards at a time. Not sure. And I don't know how that white spot down on the end of this purple heart is going to work. I guess we're going to figure it out. We're gonna start making some cuts after we scrape it off, and I may end up running it through the planer in the current configuration, though I may end up just putting them together, figuring out how I want to twist and flip and turn, and then gluing those up into a longer board that's got this hopefully interesting pattern to it, and then running it through the planer. Right now it's 3/4 inch thick. Normally I work with a 1/2 inch, and my boxes are all 1/2 inch, 3/8, 1/4 inch boxes. So this 3/4 inch thick means it's going to be a much heavier box. If I leave it like this, I am going to have to plane it so it won't end up to be a true 3/4 inch thick. I may end up at closer to a 1/2. Doesn't have to be exact. This is not a box making contest where they say, oh, we have to make a box that's exactly 3/4 inch thick. It'll be the thickness that it ends up to be. It's just a question of how do I want to do it. So I guess we're gonna do our best to try to figure that all out and see what happens. But for now, I'm gonna put the clamps away, clean up the mess that's underneath after the squeeze out, give me a nice flat surface in my kind of assembly area to work with, and then I'll do some scraping and decide what I want to do next. We'll keep you updated as to where we go. You guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Looking forward to this exciting project. Have a super day. Afternoon from the shop. Dave here. What you see in front of you is the start of the wood for box number 100. I finished 98. I don't know what I'm going to do with 99, but this is box number 100, at least the start of it. I milled up. What you see from bottom to top is cherry, purple heart, walnut, padauk, lacewood, leopard wood. I don't know the scientific name for the next one. Leopard wood is what I call it. And the top one is canary wood. Those are all woods that I've used in my box making over the years. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to make a box out of all the woods. Well, this isn't quite all of them, but this is the majority of the woods that I use. And what you see is just the start. So from this, I'm going to make one solid board. Right now, this is all 3/4 of an inch thick, and what I'll have to do is scrape and then plane this off so it's all level, where I end up somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 to make sure it's all flat. Then I'm going to cut it at an angle and kind of twist and turn those pieces individually to see what kind of cool pattern I can get out of it, and then glue all those together and then plane it some more and then cut it up and make a box out of it. I don't know how it's going to turn out. It'll turn out how it turns out. I guess we'll see when it's done. We're gonna get what we get, and I'll take you with me along the journey as we make box number 100. It will definitely be unique. This is not something I've done before. It's not my idea. I've seen something similar to this done on a couple of the other channels, but I'm going to start cutting it off at a 45-degree angle in this direction, and then we're going to play around with the pieces, and we'll end up with who knows what. I guess you'll see it the same time that I do. And again, I'll take you along, and however it turns out is however it turns out. If it turns out great, wonderful. If it turns out to be a stinker, well, you'll see it turn out to be a stinker right along with me. So I think it has possibilities of being pretty darn cool. We'll see. You guys have a blessed day. Talk to you again.